Welcome back. All right, so we're going to review the rest of the games. I didn't really have time to review this one on its own, so it gets this nice, beautiful board for itself, and then the other four games are all squashed into one board. Apologies. I wasn't going to do five boards. I love you guys. You guys are great, but I'm not doing five boards today. All right, I could, but I'm not going to. All right, so starting things off with Minnesota and Carolina, obviously. So it's Gustafsson versus Ranta. If you had any uncertainty about Antti Ranta as a starter, I'm not sure that tonight's game would make you feel better. So it's a near miss for Kaprizov from the slot. The next chance he has is saved. Did not count as a shot on net, but I thought, well, at least Ranta, he's got the puck. He's got that feel of it. So Bunting's denied on a break. The shots are 3-0 for Carolina, 2.5 minutes in. Gustafsson, sharp early in this. Teravainen has a sharp angle shot. That's blocked. Shea has a shot that's held. Kane's controlling the game. No room for the Wild after those early chances for Kaprizov. Duhaime has a net drive. That's blocked. There's a near miss for Jarvis. It's really all Kane's. The shots are 6-0, 7 minutes in. And any rush chance that Minnie's getting would get maybe to center, and then it gets blocked off by Carolina. The first shot for Minnesota is with 9 minutes left. It's not a dangerous shot, and then the Canes take the puck the other way, and they press again. Orlov has a shot that's saved. The teams exchange rushes after that. Teravainen's denied. The Wild clear it briefly. Shea has a one-timer that's held. 13 shots for Carolina, 1 for the Wild. And Necas was a failed clear by Minnesota that leads to the goal. One of many failed clears by Minnesota in that first period. Necas scores from Nason and Drury at 14:02. It was a cross ice pass and buried on that one. Then there's an ozone penalty by Foligno. So the Canes get a power play shortly thereafter, and Foligno looked just dumbfounded. Bunting has a shot that's blocked. The Canes cycle. It's cleared. Duhaime, he clears it. That ends that. 2 shots for Carolina on the power play. There's a shoulder save on a rush chance by Pesce, and then the second shot of the game for Minnesota goes in the net. Kaprizov from Goligoski and Rossi at 17:43, and he kind of bounces it in past Ranta, so it's 1-1. 2:13 left, the Wild with a power play. There was an early clear. The Canes prevent any kind of setup. Maroon gets denied. The rebound's cleared. That was the only real chance they had in that. That's killed off. But it's 1-1 after 1, even though the shots nowhere near even. But the score is. Second period, Kaprizov fires one high on a rush. Bunting prevents a press by the Wild. Canes press at 2.5 minutes. The Wild, they block, they clear. The Canes draw a power play. They cycle Aho to Teravainen with a near miss. More cycling by Carolina. Bunting has a shot that's saved. It's cleared out. We get 49 seconds of 4-on-4. Boldy nearly scores in close. Zuccarello and Eriksson with near misses. And then shortly after the power play comes to an end, Minnesota does score to go ahead. Kaprizov from Boldy and Eriksson at 6:18. So Kirill with 2 goals today. He's starting to pick it up. Canes, though, they go back to the power play. They cycle. Bunting can't bury one. That's killed off. The shots halfway through the period are 8-4 for Carolina. So there's 7 shots by Minnesota halfway through the game. 2 of them have gone in the net. This is the frustration for Carolina right now. Canes press are kept to the outside. Jarvis has a net drive. That's kicked aside. Orlov has a shot that's held. Middleton has a chance that's blocked. Canes clear it out. Teravainen chips one high on a fast break. Bunting has a shot that's saved. The rebound's cleared. Ranta holds with Foligno on the doorstep. Mermis nearly dekes around Ranta, but the goalie holds on. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe Ranta's picking this up, and he'll get it together in the third. Wild press. Rossi has a tip shot that's held. Maroon has a shot held as the momentum shifting towards Minnesota. However, there's pressure by the Canes to close out the period, with the Canes coming out of that period down 2-1 going to the third. Early jump for Carolina in the third. Post and out for Stahl. Wild had the only official shot on net 2 minutes in, because if it's a post, it doesn't count as a shot. The Wild are preventing the Canes setups, and the Canes are preventing Wild setups. It was really, really good defense early in that period. Kaprizov has a 3-on-2 chance that's held. There's a post for Rossi on a rush. And the crowd, I felt like there was a nervous energy from the crowd. They're down 2-1. It's a game that they should be ahead. Goligoski misses one high. The Canes rush. Kokaniemi has a chance that's held. There's a near miss for Drury on a 3-on-2. Johansson has a net drive that's defended, and then Carolina ties it. It's Bunting burying one short side from the left circle. Jarvis and Aho with the assists at 8:17. But then the Wild press for a response. And the Wild, I thought, played much better in the third period than in the first, especially, and a little better than they did in the second, and they'd score. Eriksson gets one from Brodin and Faber at 9:32. Duhaime then has a shot that's held as the Wild are seeking that insurance goal. The Canes, though, they draw a power play with 5:42 left. It's killed off. It's killed off, and then the Wild clear it out. So just a tough game. Goalie pull happens with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, and Kaprizov hits the empty net for the hat-trick goal at 17:59. He did that from inside his own zone. They pull Ronta again, which leads to Middleton getting his 7th of the season. Bogosian and Eriksson Ek with the assists at 19:04. Minnesota wins this one 5-2. They go to 20, 21, and 5 on the season. For Carolina, 25, 15, and 5 overall. Shots on net, 18-3 Carolina in the first, 13-7 Carolina in the second, 11-9 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 42-19 for Carolina. Power plays, Minnesota 0-2, Carolina 0-4. The hits, 18-13 Minnesota. Gustafsson saves 40 out of 42. He was excellent throughout this game. Ronta, tough night, 14 saves on 17 shots. And now I need to change boards. All right, so 4 games for the rest of the night. Starting with Tampa Bay and Detroit. How about those Lions? I had to put at the top, congrats to the Lions. I did watch the last, portions of the end of that game because, obviously Minnesota-Carolina, I'm still watching that, but I had to see if the Lions pulled that off. So congratulations to the Lions. Or spoiler alert if you haven't watched the game yet. If you're a Bucs fan, probably saved you some pain. But so was the question became, can Detroit beat a Tampa team in 2 different sports on the same day? The answer was yes. So it's Vasilevsky versus Lyon. Early press by Tampa Bay. There's a net feed to Compher that gets picked off. The shots are 3-1 Tampa at 4 minutes. The Bolts press at 6.5 minutes. The Wings block. Stamkos nearly opens the scoring, and then Hedman does on a fantastic pass by Kucherov. Point with the other helper at 8:45. Hedman with the goal, and so it's 1-0. Wings press with 9.5 minutes left. Kopp fires one wide on a turnover. The Wings press with 3 minutes left. Eventually, they score. Well, Vasi kind of did. He knocks it into the net himself. Raymond credited with the goal. Larkin and Perron with the assists at 18:29. So it's 1-1 after 1. Second period. Early press by Tampa Bay. Fisher then has a chance that's caught and held. Things get pushy on a hole by Vasilevsky. Raymond in all by himself. He's denied there. Hedman has a screenshot that saved. Shots are 5-3 for the Wings at 5 minutes. Wings are creating turnovers too. Tampa Bay clumsy with the puck. Tampa Bay on the road is not the same as they are at home either. Sprong would score on a fast break from Compher at 8:58. So one of those turnovers does burn Tampa. It's 2-1 Detroit. Get a power play for the Wings. Perron is robbed. Vasilevsky holds. We get 11 seconds of 5-on-3. There's a near miss for Larkin. Gostisbehere is a shot that's held. The Bolts do kill it off. Kopp then has a chance that's held. The shots are 17-5 for the Wings with 5 minutes left. Tampa Bay would not get a shot the rest of that period either. So yeah, it's 2-1 after 2, and Detroit really taking over in the second. But in the third period, Tampa takes over. Early press by Tampa. Mott gets denied. The Bolts get a power play. There's all kinds of chaos at the net. I have no idea how Lyon holds like he does, but he did. There was chaos all around the net. Power plays killed off. Tampa Bay presses after. The fans call one. The referee doesn't. Lilleberg's denied from the slot. The Wings press at 9 minutes. We get a power play for Tampa again. Hedman has a shot that bounces wide. Power play's killed off. Kopp is denied on a rush after that's done. Goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left. There's a near miss for Mott as the Bolts press. With 11.4 seconds left, it becomes a 6-on-4 for Tampa Bay, but the Wings hang on. They win 2-1. They go to 24-17-5 with the win. Tampa Bay 24-18-5 with the loss, as Tampa Bay, Detroit, and Toronto are all battling for the same spot in the Atlantic Division, all trying to be third. And I think this race is going to be great in the second half of the season. So shots on net, 12-5 Detroit in the first, 19-5 Detroit in the second, 18-4 Tampa Bay in the third. So basically, I guess they went to line between the second and third period and said, we noticed you only had 10 shots so far. We think you need to earn this. Final shots are 35-28 for Detroit. Power plays, Tampa Bay 0-3, Detroit 0-2. Hits 15-12 Detroit. Vasilevsky was excellent, 33 saves on 35 shots. Lyon was fantastic as well, 27 saves on 28 shots. Nice goalie matchup there. All right, moving along. Dallas and the New York Islanders. And I had some dread as a Dallas fan because I thought, all right, it's Patrick Roy. He's a very good coach. I like Patrick Roy as a coach. And this should fire up the Islanders. And so, yeah. And I also thought to myself, Dallas had that really good game against New Jersey. Are they going to be tired coming into this one? Not really. So it's Wedgwood versus Sorokin. There's a crossbar for Duchesne on a fast break. Really good start for Dallas until the Islanders score. Romanov buries one short side from Barzal and Dobson at 2:52, and I didn't think that was a great goal against Wedgwood. The good news is Wedgwood made up for it the rest of that period. He was fantastic after that. So Hintz is denied as the Stars look to answer. We get a power play for Dallas. That's killed off. The shots are 11-3 for Dallas at 7.5 minutes. Sorokin really doing his best impression of a wall in this one, and the Islanders would rush the other way after some big saves. Barzal gets robbed. Wedgwood holds. There's a near miss for Nelson as the Islanders press. We get another power play for Dallas. That's killed off. It's 1-0 Islanders after one. Second period, early press by New York. Much quieter second period than first, though, at least to start with. Lundqvist is denied and close. Hakanpää has a net feed that's tipped aside. The shots are 5-2 for Dallas, 7.5 minutes in. Stars press at 8 minutes. They end up getting their third and final power play of the game. That was killed off as well. Fasching can't bury one on a rush after it's done. Dodonov has a net drive that saved. And then the 25th shot finally solves Sorokin. Robertson with that one on a rush from Pavelski and Fox at 11:35. Marchment to Duchesne. There's a near miss there. And then Lundqvist puts Dallas in the lead. It's a shot that just fools Sorokin. Steele and Pavelski with the assists at 15:08. And I jokingly put Roy in. But yeah, Sorokin had a great night. So both goalies, one goal that you could kind of maybe pick apart. But by the end of the night, their stats are fantastic. So Pavelski to Hintz gets blocked. There's some booing at the horn. Yeah, fans not happy. They had a 1-goal lead and then 2 goals by Dallas. They're 1 goal down going into the third. Horvat can't bury one in close early in the third. Barzal to Horvat gets picked off. Johnston, near miss in close. The shots are 3-1 for the Islanders, 3.5 minutes in. There's a stick save on a Marchment rush, and then Fasching deflects one in. It goes in off his leg anyways at 5:22. Dobson and Nelson with the assists. We have a tie game. Stars look to respond. Pajot's denied as the Islanders press for the lead. Johnston's then denied and close. Lee, he was denied as well, not too far from the net. So both goalies trying to one-up one another. The Islanders press with 1.5 minutes left, but we're going to overtime. The Stars control early, but they would turn it over, and Horvat makes him pay. He buries it on a rush. Barzal with the assist at 41 seconds. So there's Bo with the goal, and the Islanders with a win, and Patrick Roy's debut in overtime, where they've struggled this year. Now they go to 20, 15, and 11 on the season. Dallas 27, 13, and 6 with the overtime loss. Shots on net 15-13 Dallas in the first, 14-5 Dallas in the second, 13-9 Dallas in the third, and the Islanders had the only shot of the overtime. That's all they needed. Final shots 42-28 Dallas. Power plays, the Islanders didn't have any. Dallas had 3. They didn't score on any. Hits 28-15 Islanders. Wedgwood saves 25 out of 28. Sorokin 40 saves on 42 shots. So fun game, especially if you're an Islanders fan. But even as a Dallas fan, I was like, you know what? A point in New York tonight, I'm fine with that. That's not a big deal considering it's Waz's debut and it could have been a lot worse. All right, next up, the Rangers and Anaheim. This almost ended up being a trap. Now, the Rangers need to get things rolling back in the right direction, right? And coming off that loss last night against LA, it looked like early in this one they might be falling off again. But the Rangers do fight back. We'll see if this is a sign that they're ready to start turning things around. So it's Shesterkin versus Dostal. It's 51 seconds in that a neutral zone turnover leads to a goal for Anaheim. Henrique from Carlson and Terry. That was the first shot on net too. So Igor with a bit of a rough start there. Rangers press are kept to the outside. More Rangers pressure at 5.5 minutes. Cooley has a screenshot that's held. There was a post for Keandre Miller from the circle. Lafreniere is a one-timer. That's saved. The shots are only 3 apiece with 9 minutes left. It felt like there was more going on than that. Henrique has a slot shot. That's kicked aside. The Ducks icing it often. The Rangers in control. But at 15:37, Henrique buries a loose puck completely against the flow of play to give Anaheim the lead at 15:37 from Terry and Carlson. So it is 2-0 for the Ducks after the first. Second period. Early power play for Anaheim. That's killed off. The Rangers had the only shot on net 3 minutes in, so Anaheim didn't get a shot on their power play there. Pressed by the Rangers at 4.5 minutes. We get a power play for New York. Zibanejad has a blast that's saved. It then becomes 47 seconds of 4-on-4. Silverberg has a net feed that's blocked. Everything gets killed off there. Gustafsson has a blast that's held. 30 minutes into this game, Anaheim had 5 shots. So that's not great, right? 5 shots through 30 minutes. Things get pushed in a hole by Dostal. We get a power play for the Rangers. There's a shorthanded Vakanainen chance that's saved. The power play's killed off. And honestly, Dostal was kind of the story at this point. He was trying to steal one here because Anaheim was not playing great hockey at this stage. So Fowler has a shot that's blocked as the Ducks get some pressure, and then with 2:24 left, the Rangers get a power play. You can't give them power plays, but Anaheim, of course, a team that gives up a lot of power plays. Trocheck scores from Kreider and Fox at 17:58 on that power play. The Ducks press to respond with 51 seconds left. Anaheim gets a power play. So that rolls over into the third, where the score is now 2-1 Anaheim. McTavish has a one-timer that's held. The Rangers finish the kill. The Ducks score, but is it offside? Yep, so that comes off the board. Shots are 4-2 for Anaheim, 6.5 minutes in. The Rangers press at 8.5 minutes. At 10 minutes and 10 seconds, Will Cooley. It's a screenshot. He deflects it in. Trouba and Miller with the assists. I don't think Dostal saw that at all. Rangers press, they draw a power play, and they score on it at 14:23. It's Panarin with a fantastic one-timer. That looked like it was going to go through the mesh. But Fox and Trocheck with the assists, and then at 16:07, Kreider bats one out of midair. His own rebound, too, to get that. Zibanejad with the assist. They pull the goalie, now down by 2, and that gives VC the empty netter at 19:24. Your final score is 5-2 in favor of the Rangers. They go to 29-15-2 with a win they desperately needed. Anaheim 15-30-1. And I say that because Philadelphia and Carolina are right there in that battle for first. So with this win and Carolina losing, it takes a little bit of the pressure off the Rangers. Shots on net favor the Rangers the entire way through. 7-5 in the first, 11-5 in the second, 15-8 in the third. They outshoot Anaheim 33-18. Power plays, Rangers 2 for 4, Anaheim 0 for 3. The hits, 15-13 Rangers. Shesterkin saves 16 out of 18. Dostal saves 28 out of 32. So, again, is it an entertaining game? Yep. If you're a Ducks fan, it might be frustrating, but at this point, it's kind of just all blending together, isn't it? All right, next up, Toronto and Seattle. So, Seattle came into this one having lost 3 in a row. I don't know if you get into panic stations with Seattle at this point, but it's not a great showing at home. And again, it gets into the shot suppression side of things. It really feels like that's become more and more of a thing. You have Tampa Bay with 10 shots through 2 periods. Anaheim with 10 shots through 2 periods. Seattle had a really hard time generating shots tonight, too. So Samsonov versus Decord. And Michael Bublé was there because why not? Wearing a Vancouver Giants jersey. So that's how you do it. You go out, you get interviewed before the game, and you make sure you're wearing the jersey of the team you're a partial owner of. Good call. Just like, if I was going to be on TV, this hockey guy jersey? Yeah, it's a hockey guy jersey. Anyway, that being said, Yarncroke with a one-timer. That was caught and held. Punching starts early, so the Kraken come out of that with a power play. The Leafs don't really let them set up. They kill it off without a shot. No momentum for Seattle out of that. The Leafs press at 5 minutes. Tanev has a rush chance that's held. There's some pushing. Tanev was disturbing things a lot early on. Toe save on a McCann slap shot, and then Matthews goes forehand, backhand, and buries it. Between the legs, too. Marner and Nyes with the assists at 7:06. So Austin Matthews continues to just score all the goals. It's what he does. McCabe versus Tanev after a hit by Tanev, because that was it. Like, just Tanev throwing hits and just generally poking at the Leafs, and eventually it's time to drop the gloves. The Leafs press at the half. They're kept to the outside. Teams exchange rushes. The Leafs press with 4 minutes left. With 3:01 left, Seattle gets a power play. Tolvanen has a shot that deflects out. And yeah, everything that gets killed off. So we're going to the second period with Toronto ahead 1-0. Early press by the Leafs. It ends up drawing them a power play. That's killed off. 2 shots, but shortly after it finishes at 2 minutes and 50 seconds, Robertson scores on a rush. Domi and Bertuzzi with the assist. Fantastic pass by Domi to set that up too. It's now 2-0 for Toronto. Leafs go back to the power play. That one, Seattle kills off 1 shot. Teams exchange rushes. Gregor has a rush chance that's held. Riley has a 3-on-2 chance that's blocked. The Kraken press at 9 minutes. Things get pushy on a hold by Samsonov. The shots are 5-3 for Toronto with 9 minutes left. This game, really, again, it's all about just defense. Matthews is denied. Decord holds. And then Eberle buries a rebound as Seattle starts getting some opportunities here. Eberle gets him on the board. McCann and Tatar with the assists at 14:03. Seattle presses to tie the game. The Leafs, they press with 4 minutes left. Burakovsky has a buzzer beater that goes wide. It's 2-1 Toronto after 2. Third period. The question became, can the Leafs protect a lead? I'll answer that. Yeah. Tonight they absolutely did. This is 2 out of 3 games now where they've had a lead going into the third, and they've kept it. Against Vancouver, they were trailing going into the third. So Larson fires one wide on a rush. Marner has a slot shot that's held. The shots on net, 8.5 minutes in, are 6-0 Toronto. So I could have just kept putting down press by the Leafs. But I'll just tell you now, the Leafs were dominating that third period. Alexiak fires one wide on a rush. Schultz was robbed on the Kraken's first shot. The Kraken don't get their first shot until about 7 minutes left in the period. And it was a doozy that Samsonov had to be really good on because it was a cross-ice pass and one-timer. Bjorkstrand then has a one-timer that's held. The Leafs pull the goalie with, the Leafs press with a minute and a half left. I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? The goalie pull happens with 40 seconds left. So the Leafs pressure means they don't get the goalie pulled early enough. But McCabe hits the empty net at 19:39. And so the Toronto Maple Leafs go into Seattle. They even up the road trip at 2-2. They win 3-1. They go to 23-14-8 with the win. Considering it's the second half of back-to-back, I think you take this. And honestly, with the way Toronto played on the second half of back-to-back, pretty strong showing. Seattle drops to 19-18-9. So, yeah, Seattle's in trouble. Shots on net favored Toronto the whole night. 8-6 in the first, 9-7 in the second, 9-4 in the third. Final shots are 28-17 for Toronto. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 2. Seattle, 15 hits. Toronto with 10. Samsonov saved 16 out of 17. Decord saved 23 out of 25. So, really, honestly, that was a fun game, and it was nice to see Toronto bring their work boots tonight, and they did everything they had to. They shot blocked. They played really solid defense, and so we'll see what they do next game out. Let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support, as always. I will talk to you again soon.